Hello and welcome back to Stranded Deep, welcome back to Pacific Paradise, and welcome back to this map editor we find ourselves in. Last time we started building ourselves a volcano with Caldera. It does look a bit more like a bundt cake right at this moment in time, but we're going to work on it because, well, we're going to work on it. That's what we're here for. We are on the PC version of the game, the Steam version of the game, and for anyone who's new here, I'm just going to run through the controls real quick, because not everyone joins at video 1. The controls we're using are W to go forward, S to go back. A to go left, D to go right, Q to go down, E to go up. You push and hold the right mouse button and that pans everything around. But wait, there's more! Yes, if we select an object, we can use R to rotate, T to transform, C to copy or clone. We can press delete to delete. And if we have something selected, we can press F to focus. There are some eccentricities with the map editor. The more items you have stacked together, the more likely that when you move something around, when you let go, the little toggle is going to snap to something else in the background without you noticing, so save often. The other thing is that there is no constant velocity on the camera, so as you move things closer and further away to objects, the camera may or may not slow down. It may slow to a crawl and then suddenly ping off to the side of the map. That's not you, that's just the way the game is. Also, we have under terrain the three brushes. We have smooth, set, and raise and lower height. And the brush sliders are inherited between all three, which is something of a pain in the butt and will trip you up. So if you have your mount slider cranked because you're going around smoothing the sand and then you hit raise and lower, you left click, you will have a spike all the way up to the moon. Or if you had on lower, you'd have a hole all the way down to Australia. Unless you're in Australia, in which case, say hello to the United Kingdom. Either way, there is no undo, so save often, and if you make a mistake, the best thing to do is exit and then reload without saving. That's my advice. Anyway, we have a bunch of interesting things going on. We have a bundt cake, we have a bit of a beach, we have some deep water on the outside, and we have a little bit of a caldera on the middle. It's got some spooky things going on underneath, and we have a boat and a door for scale. That's exactly where we are at the time being. If we go underwater, sploosh, there is no ocean fog because we're not in single player mode. In fact, in order to really look at this map properly, we would need to put it into the game and just wander around. It looks slightly different in game than it does here. We also have, if we sploosh through the water, we have ourselves a bit of an underwater cavern. Excellent, isn't that spooky? Now, we don't know if a player can actually swim around in here, but we have the door. So yes, it's going to be tight, but not too bad. The other thing is the rowboat. Well, it goes down a little bit further. There is a lower limit to how far you can put objects underground, and for here it seems to be quite a lot further down than we've got. So while we are under the terrain, what we're going to do is hit lower. Remember, the mount slider is all the way up, so what I'm going to do is just pull it a few pixels off the stop, change the size down, and then I'm going to use this very hard to see boat that we've got here as a guide to see how deep we can actually sink this hole. Now we've gone a little bit too deep there, possibly. I'm going to hit smooth. No, I'm not. I'm going to hit read terrain paint height, click in the bottom of that hole, and then paint around the outside like the Buffalo Girls. Right, if we hit the object now, how far into the hole can we go? All the way down. How far does it go before it actually stops? That's the question. There, just a little bit further down than we have it at the moment. So we can actually bore this out a little bit further. There is a reason for going down to a specific level, and that is I'm worried that physics objects after this level will not render. So we will go to raise and lower, have lower, change the amount down a little bit further, and just pull it up a little bit. I want to dig a hole here. It's hard to see. Right, objects, grab you, push you down into the hole. Okay, it stops there. So we're not that far off the bottom. The further down we go, the less light there is. That is just a function of, in fact, can we disable the water in such a way that we would actually have light under there? The answer is probably no. What we need to do is we need to praise the sun, hit terrain, hit the cog, display ocean, turn off. And now, well, that's gone, but is it still going to go blue? Probably. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Yeah, it goes blue as soon as we pass the water level. Oh, alright. That's fine, that's fine. So I will retrain paint height, and I'll go from the bow of this thing using the mouse cursor, and then we will just fill this in, using the amount slider can be cranked all the way up. Is that now in the sand? Yes. Is this as far down as it can go? Not quite, but it's as close as I want to get. Alright, cool. So if we go and paint this out a little bit further, we can get ourselves a big old hole. Big old hole. So this suddenly becomes a bit more of a caldera. A bit more of a magma chamber underneath the rock cap that we've put on. And there's a reason for putting a rock cap on. There is? Yes. Yeah. So if we go down here, down to the shipwreck, and then we look up, that is what we have to look up at. And I want it to be deliberately confusing and deliberately disorientating. Because if you're going to go down there and have a look at whatever is down there, then I kind of want people to get disorientated, because cave diving is spooky, it's scary. We may have accidentally carved out some of this over here. I'm looking at the sand here. So we may have just accidentally moved too much sand away. What we can do is retrain paint height from here, and then just kind of like paint it back in around the outside. There is a definite step here that wasn't here before. That's because after the 1.0 update, what happened was the 1.0 update came out, and then the sand and the beach became very polygonal, and it never got fixed. And if it hasn't been fixed now, it's never going to be fixed. Right, so what I'm going to do is retrain paint height, and there's a lumpy bumpy bit here. No, that's not too bad. If there's a gap that you can see into the mesh, then that's a problem. Okay, cool. So we have the bunt cake. We have a hole underneath it. A big spooky hole. The FOV on these objects, by the way, is going to be much better once you're in the game. You're not going to see them popping in and out quite as much as they are. And especially if you have the FOV mod on the PC version of the game, it's going to be much better. Not only that, these are all going to be underwater, so by the time you do swim over to them, it's going to be underwater. I have a feeling that that you're not going to get any seaweed or anything, because that's too low for seaweed to render down there. Well, you might get rocks and seaweed around the outside, so again, that's something we'll have to check. But wait, there's more. Yes, okay, so what we're going to do is display ocean back on, and we're just going to scoot around, because this is definitely not a volcano. It's not a volcano. It's a cake. It's a delicious cake, but it is definitely a cake. So there's a few things I'm going to want to do, and I need to experiment slightly. So this hole is not quite centered to the island. What I think I want to do is find a short way out. I'm looking with my eyes and I'm talking with my mouth. Let's turn that off. Turn the water off there. It's a little easier. The light, don't worry about the light. The light is going to be like the LOD models are kind of messed up here. I think looking at it, I'm looking for a short way between the hole that we have and the ocean. What are you planning? What's going on in your tiny little pigeon mind? Well, apart from the fact that's kind of rude. What I'm going to do is retrain paint height from... So select that button, retrain paint height from the floor. Now this may work. Or it may not. The amount is cranked. So what we're going to do is carve ourselves something with a big old chamber. Really? Yep. It doesn't need to be straight. It doesn't need to be smooth. Now this may or may not work. Really? Yeah, may or may not work. So what we're doing is we're just carving like a magma tunnel out through the side of the island. Oh. Now what we can't do is we can't put dirt over the top. That's not something we can do. What we can do is use some of our budget to straight up put cliffs and things there instead. So I'm just gonna lazily brush around here. Okay. It's rough and horrible. That's fine. It does look kind of smooth, like everything kind of looks smooth until we come back into it, and then they're going to be polygonal again. What I'm going to do is use the width of the brush and just smash this out. We can come back and tidy it up later. I don't want to be too wide, but also it might be a case of like the game put stuff here. So yeah, it might just be a case the game put stuff here. So we now have a big ass hole in our island. Oh no, what have you done? What have you done? What have you done? Alright, well, we're going to have to get some objects. And we're going to press C. So this is the cliff 6. We're going to press R, rotate it. And then what we're going to do is we are going to try and build ourselves some land. Really? Yeah. Yeah, boy. So we are going to need to build ourselves a cave so that when you are under here, you can legit just swim out to the ocean if you should so wish. Or that. If you're on the land, we're going to have to fill all this in. So there's going to be some sort of cavity there. Oh, but I want it to be spookums and scary. So this bit can be quite low. Yeah, this bit can be quite low. It's fine. It's fine. But this is hugely experimental, so do you know what you're doing? No! We're not going to be able to beautify the island until much later on. So this is just a case of C to clone or copy, and then moving this in such a way that we are adding a false ceiling to the magma chamber. Again, okay. So I'll move that out. It might be worth just leaving that like that. That's kind of cool. For this, what we'll do is we'll press C, move it across, press R, rotate it using the blue toggle, press T to transform, green toggle, and then slide that in. So it's kind of narrow, but now we have a roof down here. Scoots boots. There we go. There we go. So if you want to swim through here, you can, bearing in mind that we're going to probably have a bunch of coral and things in the bottom. We'll have to experiment with the depth to see how deep coral actually grows. Right, good. Now we have a bit of a problem. Because if we go to terrain and hit the cog, display ocean, we got this. And it means fine. Volcanoes get things blasted out of them all the time. Go talk to Mount St. Helens. That blew its top. Was it 1986? There was a bulge, and then everyone was like, oh, there's a bulge. Should we do anything about that? And everyone was like, no, I've got an event to attend. Well, we can deal with it later. And then there wasn't a later. There was a bang. Right. We got to deal with this. We got to deal with this. Right. So we're going to hit objects. We've got a couple of ways of doing this. Yeah, we definitely want this to be filled in. So what I'm going to do is C. And then we can fill this in here by hitting R to rotate. And then we're just going to fill this in using rock. Now we're going to dress it with trees and things. There is a bit of a problem though. Oh, don't tell me with your wizard's words. Yeah, there's going to be a bit of a problem. So let's do that because we haven't actually finished the actual rim of the volcano. It should be steeper on the inside than it is on the outside. Currently it's just kind of all piled up dirt. It looks more like some sort of defilade cover or a berm than a peak. So I'm going to hit C, E. I just want to get this sort of done. R, rotate it around, T, slide it across. Now this has to be tight. We can't allow people to get in there because we don't want people getting out. People getting in because they won't be able to get out. We don't want people to get out. Oh, we don't care about people getting out. So there's little gaps like this we got to keep an eye on. We'll probably patch it with like rocks and things. transform, rotate, transform. So how many of these can you use? Well, kind of be frugal about it. Don't absolutely power fill your map with objects, because remember that not everyone's computer is super duper powerful, and sometimes you're like, I'm going to fill this up, it looks beautiful, and then you go and try and run the map and it runs like a bag of spanners, and you're like, oh, well, I'm sad now. I imagine you would be. Right, so there's that, and we can hit C once more, and then rotate. So move the camera around so you can actually see what's going on. But this doesn't look too bad. Kind of looks like a bit of younger geography, like something's happened. Oh, younger geology. Sorry, I keep getting the words mixed up. Bit of younger geology. Good. And then probably C again, and bring that up, out, and then T. No, R. Sorry. Now T. There we go. Now we know. What's that from? It's that Mitchell and Webb look. It was a sketch on that Mitchell and Webb look. Okay. So we're probably going to need another one just to fill that in, because we've got a big old gap there. That should be alright. That should be fine. I want the blue toggle. My dude, I need the blue toggle. Because I can see the caustics here, so that's where the water is. So we'll hit C, and then R, and then rotate that round, using the blue toggle. Pitch it down slightly, T to transform. It snapped onto the other thing. There we go. Just check the butt of this. And there's some gaps, some gappy gaps. Let's rotate it up, transform it. So we'll see how much we can tessellate this without. No, there's definitely a thing there. Okay, that's not something we can fix. Okay, cool. So we've punched a hole in the volcano, and now we've filled it in. Fill it in, boys. Fill it in. Right. Do we need 2 more here and here? Question. Well, we can answer that by turning the ocean back on. Maybe. I mean, this is fairly dressable, so that's not a problem. And then we've got the rocks here, so it kind of looks like a bit of a magma flow. We can dress that as well. Wow. Have we talked about that before? Suddenly had about deja vu. Which is the opposite of jamais vu. Which is the feeling that you've never done this before. Right. Let's go and raise and lower the amount slider. Crank it all the way down. And we've got the raise amount. Tiny little brush. Move the brush up a little bit. So we are now going to need to try and sculpt this. I'm going to work on a little area. Don't try and work on the whole thing at once. Ideally, we want it to be steep on the inside and then plane away on the outside, which is kind of how I imagine a volcano would be. I'd love to visit a volcano. Isn't it dangerous? Don't they explode? Yeah. You're not afraid? I mean, it's not a spider, so I don't see why I would be afraid of a volcano. Ah, fair point. Yeah, spiders are spooky. Like, I wouldn't go out my way to squash one. They have a right to exist as much as anything else, but oh boy, you don't want one on your face. Don't want a spider on your face. Oh, do you eat them at night? No, you don't eat them at night. Spiders want to move away from a draft, so they're not going to go in your mouth. The whole eating 7 spiders every night thing, that's, I'm afraid that's not real. That's just something somebody made up and then everyone kind of went with it. Like goldfish have a 7-second memory, except you can train a goldfish to push a button for food. Yeah, goldfish are just carp. I think part of the carp family, which, yeah, well, they're fairly intelligent creatures. But people tell themselves they only have a 7-second memory so they can keep them in a tight little tank with a little plastic frogman and nothing else. I think they're okay. Ooh, no, your goldfish is sad. Anyway, so yeah, here we go. We're making a very steep interior and then smoothing off the exterior. This might not be like a giant ass island that you can do much with, but we'll see. We'll see how much stuff we can pack onto it. The inside is kind of lumpy bumpy. Again, we'll have to see how much lumpy bumpiness is going to be, like how much smoothness is going to be preserved. And this looks too steep for a player to walk up. I'm pretty sure a player can walk up that, but we might end up getting creative with some rocks. So we're just raising it up. So if we hit Q, we're raising it up. So the outside, I think I want this to be smoother as well, and I want it to be more sort of striations, lines down the inside. So we're kind of making it look like it was created in a blast of anger and fire and frustration. So we're just brushing backwards and forwards. Cool, how was your day? Mine was long. I just recorded a vlog on the way home from work after going to the supermarché. It was interesting. The internet's going to change next week for everyone in the United Kingdom. So if you're watching this as this goes out, in order to access social media next week, you're going to need to scan in your face. What? Yeah, Online Protection Act. I don't think they've thought it through very well in order to get to things like Reddit and TikTok and Twitter and Facebook and Discord. Yeah, you're going to have to scan your face in after next week and scan in your ID and everything. It sounds like a security nightmare. So I did a vlog on that on the way home from work. Because why would you not? I'll probably put that up either tomorrow or... well, probably tomorrow actually. As I record this. This is Thursday as I record. Probably Friday. Because I recorded Baldur's Gate 3 yesterday, but there was a bit of a romantic scene, so I need to break out the Next Generation crew and spend some time just censoring everything using tracking masks, which is actually going to take so long. Like editing videos, pain in the butt sometimes really easy, sometimes pain in the butt. This one should be fairly easy. I do it because I like you guys. Don't worry about it. So yeah, I'm going backwards and forwards, and I'm making it super uncool. I'm pretty sure these are going to all end up little pyramids. But compared to the other side, where it's just super soft, that's fine. But yeah, you can see it a bit more volcanic now. I think we might be able to push it out a bit more on the edges. So we're going to have to play with rocks and things. I might end up putting a rocky path or even just punching out. I mean, this might end up as your main way in and out. Who knows? Who knows? Oh yeah, we might be able to... there's a few things we might be able to do. One of the things that you can do when you're making an island is let your subconscious work on things. I would be lying if I didn't say that the whole idea of a lava tunnel actually going from the caldera to the outside wasn't an idea I had in the shower, because it absolutely was. You don't need to be in a rush when you're making a map. You're not in a competition with anyone else. It's just you and your imagination. So, let your imagination go. We are kind of getting around the outside. So we're gonna throw in a bunch of rocks and things. Trees? Yeah, that's a good question. Trees. Thank you for asking that. So if we go to terrain and objects, we got nothing selected. Let's grab some trees. What's one of the tallest trees? Is it pine 3? Nope, it's pine tree 1. Pine tree 1, thank you. There you go, pine tree 1. Now you can kind of see how big that wall is. Yeah, because that is a big old tree. If we stand down here about the height of a player, and we can work that one out if we go to here and bring up Mr. Door. Yep. So now we kind of get the idea of how high it is. Then not so high, and then boom, very high. Oh, okay. And that tree there. Yeah. So I think we're actually a little bit too tall. I think it's... yes, I think that's the height. Yeah, so currently, not too bad. It doesn't look too bad from down here. But let's zoop upwards, and you can kind of get a sense of the scale of the crater. I mean, we'll get more sense of how big or small it is as we just add more material to the outside. So I'm working on the crater lip at the moment, which is why I'm only painting the inside. And I want it very much to look like all of this around here. So we are bring it up. I think we'll go around the outside like the Buffalo Girls. It doesn't need to be equal height around the outside either. You can have bits that are higher and smaller, and I think what I'm going to do is do it based on thickness. If something is thicker, like this side does appear to be thicker. Yeah, this side over here is thinner, this side's thicker. So what we'll do is we'll pile this up a bit more. I'm going to change the amount slider up. Get some speed. The slow brush is fine, and I would normally use a slow brush. It's more like using an airbrush if you're like into model making. Yeah, like using an airbrush. But doing it by like this, well, especially when people are watching, you might want some time. You might want to get some speed up here. Okay, we'll do that. So let's bring this around, bring this around. And then we could probably have this. Let's do that. Okay, so this side is slightly thicker over here. Okay, yeah. Let's bring that up slightly higher then. Don't mind doing that. What I might do is just follow the contours now that we've already made. Okay. That we've already made. Yep, the size of the brush might be working to our detriment now, so we want to add a little bit of texture here. So I'm just adding a bit of texture on the inside by allowing the terrain to come up and down unevenly, which I'm just pushing and holding the left mouse button. I'm not doing it in any sort of specific way, just stop the mouse pointer every now and again, just allow it to come up and down. There we go. Does there need to be a beach on the inside? It would be nice if we could smooth this off a little bit on the inside, but we need to like a definition in the terrain. I think this might end up being our entrance and exit to this. And definitely you want people to go up to the highest peak so they can look out. Let's see. And definitely people want to stand on the edge of the caldera and go, "Oh, what's in here? What is in here? It's lovely. Oh, it's lovely. It's the best place in the world to get my legs blown off by a giant magma blast." What was that? I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, we're just using the smaller brush to add some lumpy bumpy bits. Okay, good, cool. So it looks a bit more like you would expect a volcano to look like from far away. Yeah, it's a bit better. Why don't we hit lower? So we got lower, and then just sort of left click. I'm clicking and dragging. I'm just going to add some like striations to this. And then what we'll do is we'll push some of this back so it's a little bit softer on the outside. So the outside can be a bit softer. I kind of almost want it to be concave on the outside. I'm not using the smooth tool yet. Probably will resort to that. Trouble is, if we use the smooth tool along the top, what'll happen is the game, all this will start reducing in height. And I don't think, for the first time in probably a long time, I don't want to use the smooth tool on this ridge. So that's fine. Maybe just have a little bit of, maybe a lip here. Smooth this up. Okay. So what do we got in terms of raise the sun, display displayation, and change the time back to normal? Good. Let's see, anywhere where we can just drag this out a little bit more. No, this is a huge island. Like, this structure is massive. Ooh, it's massive. Ooh, it's really big, it is. It is. So we are going to want to have something here, I think. I definitely want like some sort of garden thing here. Because I want a forest. Let's be honest, I want a forest. Okay, so let us retrain paint height and read it from about here. Cool. And the amount slider is a little bit further down. And what we'll do is we'll take the size up a little bit. And then what this is going to do is it's going to allow us to paint in a ridge on the outside. There we go. So I don't want to get rid of this big old wall. What I do want is a bit of a ridge. Now, we're not in a race. It's not a ridge racer. What? Is that a joke? No. No. So let's do this. Let's continue this around the outside. Just here and there. There we go. Because we can't accidentally go higher than this. So all this is going to do is like smooth things off. Oh, look at that. Yeah, and then I'm going to read from slightly lower from there. There we go. Now we know. Now we know. So there's a way up. There's always going to be a way up. There's always going to be a way up. Okay. That's better. That looks a bit more interesting. We can crank the amount up on the smooth. Just paint that just along the edge real quick. Down here. Smooth that off. Good. So we have like a little flat ridge there. We have our magma flow, an old magma flow, and we have a very hard to see. Oh gosh, that's very dark down here. Oh, good luck with that. Seriously? Yeah. What we will need to do is when we're in here. Wow, it's very dark in here. Was it this dark earlier? That's almost in complete silhouette. That's got to be dark. Is it just because the camera is further down? I guess so. Wow. Yeah, the lighting engine's caught up. Okay, cool. Well, we're still going to need to do stuff down here. Interesting. The thing that I want to do is actually click on this. Objects. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, look at that. It's complete silhouette now. All right, let's punch our way through the top. Weird. Well, you wanted a cave, you got a cave. Beautiful. Beautiful. So what I'm going to do, I think, because what we've done is a significant amount, and I need to get this video edited because I've got a bunch of other things to do, and also I need to get ready for my stepsister's wedding this weekend because I'm going to be driving them to church. And photographing the morning. I'm photographing the wedding breakfast as well. I agreed to it a long time ago and then forgot and broke my foot. So there's going to be an interesting and very, very long weekend. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. We've done quite a bit. The volcano looks less like a bundt cake and more like an actual volcano. We're going to have to add forests and things to the outside of this. We're going to have to add paths. We have now a magma blast that goes out to sea and a magma tunnel. We're going to have to tidy this up as well because this is a very rough, but it now exists. So good. If you like these videos, definitely leave a little like. Leave a subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. If you want notifications, dingle the bingle. If you don't want notifications, don't click the bell, and I'll tell you what, I'll catch you next time.